Today's episode is brought to you by In My Bag Apparel and Customs. In My Bag is a brand that collaborates with talented artists from across the country to bring some unique and exclusive concepts to life at a reasonable price. For $15 off your first purchase, visit whatnot.com/invite/in_my_bag 2023. That's whatnot.com/invite/in_my_bag 2023 for $15 off your first purchase. And make sure to check them out on Instagram as well at in_my_bag 2023. Did you know it takes 2 years to completely grow a pineapple? I do now. Let's get into it. All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Podcast. I'm Prescott Kelly. Today is Friday, May 2nd. Glad to have you back with us. On today's episode, I take a victory lap with Nico Harrison. I'm so tired of you flippy floppy fans and wanting to be right but not get it right. Y'all irritate me so much. So we're going to get on this Nico Harrison take. We got a notification that Mr. CR's in the building.
What's happening,
Yo,
big
what's
dog?
good?
What's going on with you?
I'm good, man. I wasn't sure. I'm glad that I put it out into the ether early that I was going to do this because I want to give people time to get situated and stuff. And you said that you might be able to be on. I'm glad that was a pleasant surprise for you. I'm always glad to see your face anyways, but it's always. So what's going on with you? Good?
Man, I'm chilling. Honestly, I just picked my phone up and I looked in the chat. I was like, oh shit, my nigga posted. I forgot. My bad. I was like,
well, Tony gave me the honorary mention the other day for like a one-time pass, I think. But I'm more liberal with the language, not quite to the extent of it being all the time. But you're good, man. You're totally good.
No, and I was like, shoot, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just watching this game, hoping Golden State come back.
See, I'm not even watching. So before we actually get into the episode, what is the score right now? Because I have a DraftKings and 2 prize picks going on right now.
It is. Come on, Jimmy Butler, shoot the free throw so the score come on. It's 94 to 89 Houston.
Ooh, all right. Sounds good. Well, what I want to get into first is, I started the conversation with this, and I'm so sick of the flippy floppy fans that are now defending Nico Harrison after your boy day one when it happened, because the Playbook Podcast looks at things from everybody's perspective. And I said, look, I get it. You may not like the return on what he got, but I understand from the financial aspect. And for me, the Dallas Maverick run to a finals last year was an anomaly. And those things happen in sports. I wasn't buying it for a second. So now when people want to be right but not get it right, and it's always irritated the hell out of me about sports fans. I've always said I love sports, but I can't stand sports fans. And this is another example of that, where now you see the Lakers get bounced in round one. Now you see Luka get cooked all the time, and you go, oh, maybe there was something to it. Yeah, no, because your boy told you months ago that this would be the reaction to it.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I didn't have a problem with the trade from jump. I'm like, if you're not comfortable giving dude a super max, get rid of him. Like you said, last year was an anomaly. It was like when the Suns made their run to the finals a couple years ago. Like, they ran into some, hurt teams last year. Like Dallas, they got lucky. Don't get me wrong, Luka's a phenomenal player.
Offensively.
Exactly. Like, I'm in the club of Luka will never win a ring as the guy. Now, so if he finds somebody on the team that's like better than him and he can be a secondary guy, absolutely. As the guy, bro, they're gonna always target you. You won Jaylen Brown defensive finals MVP.
Oh yeah, Jaylen Brown owes him a gift basket for the rest of his life, for like on his birthday or whatever. He owes him big time because he was just cooking him.
Jaden McDaniels this series, it's like, okay, you owe me. All right, let me take advantage of you. Ant was just licking his chops anytime Luca or Austin Reeves were
Oh,
switched on to him.
Luca was food, man. Everybody was eating off of him. He was straight food for everyone.
Man, that sounds like one of my cousins. Man, she out there, man. Like,
but no, it was one of those things where, like I made my jokes about the whole Lakers in 5, mostly because Mac Brooks, also shout out to Mac Brooks of the Mac Truck Podcast. You can follow her actually on all her podcasts on everywhere you can find social media or other podcasts. She also goes live on TikTok, usually Tuesdays. I think it's Tuesdays around 5 Eastern or Central Time. And just follow the Mac Truck Pod on TikTok, and you can watch the entire show live there too. But that was one of the things like, oh man, so I got sidetracked because that wasn't part of my actual reads. But yeah, man, like when it first dropped the trade and or when the Lakers got bounced. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. When Lakers got bounced, I didn't think that the Lakers were going to run away with this series, but I was commenting on her post and I was doing my own Lakers in 5, like Shannon Sharp does, and I was just running with that same narrative. But I was expecting LA to still win the series, but I didn't think it was going to be 4-1, basically. Based off the same math that I did last year with how Dallas could get to the NBA Finals, which they did. I used the same math with Luka and LeBron, and you got 2 elite shot creators, and that's going to help you get there. And it ended up failing, but what was like? I guess because Evan, or not Evan, I'm getting Evan Bradfield, who's in the chat and watching now, confused with Anthony McBride. But Anthony McBride wanted us to talk the Lakers getting bounced. Do you think that, one, did you expect the Lakers to win the series? And what do you think it kind of means forward as like roster construction and things of that nature?
I had Lakers in 5 simply because I just thought,
You really
like,
did?
yeah.
Amazing.
I thought I think Julius Randle's a bum. So like I'm like, man, Julius Randle's not, like, they're gonna miss Cat. Like Cat played well in the playoffs last year. So I just thought the Lakers would win. I'm like, Luka and LeBron, man, I was wrong. Like JJ
So
Redick looked overmatched as a coach. LeBron looked like a 40-year-old out there. Luka looked like
surprised.
one of the dudes that be at the Y hooping. I mean, it was terrible.
We'll see. And so there's multiple layers to this. Because again, like I didn't really have anybody who I thought was actually going to win this series, but I was leaning more towards the Lakers. But it just feels like JJ did. I feel like he thought that he really, the way that he was coaching, it felt like he was doing what gave him the best opportunity to win with what he had constructed. So for me, I've always leaned on something where when it comes to coaching and like GMs, like when you're at the pedestal and you're actually giving your press conferences, whatever you say you should mean. And it feels like whether you're wrong, or indifferent, as long as you stand on business of what you're saying and what you feel gives you the best chance to win, then stick by it. Now, just because you don't win doesn't mean anything about it, because the phrase is the best chance to win. He clearly didn't trust anybody other than his starting 5 to do anything. But as far as, I think an interesting question too is, do you think that Luka is going to stay there long term? Because of, like, LA just has this vibe about, we only expect championships, even though you went a long time in the Kobe years too, especially towards the end of that run. The Kobe years were trash with the Lakers. So do you think that he would still want to like re-sign with LA when that contract expires? Or like, do you think that he's like, man, this is too much pressure for me, I just want to be chunky and lazy and just hoop offensively?
I don't think the pressure will bother him, but it's just like, does he want to be there? Because with the Supermax off the table,
Yeah.
like, what is the extra incentive of him staying there? So, like,
Like
he
what, like,
really has them by the nads.
yeah.
Like, if you don't improve, I'm going. Like, LeBron, let's be real. LeBron got what, 1-2 years left?
See, and that's what's so weird is thinking that, and at this level, it's the regular season, he's still going to be averaging 20, 25, 8, and 8. That's the thing, is like, And we kind of talked about this in the chat as far as like the defensive side of the ball in the playoffs. I'm so tired of old heads just saying, and we kind of all had the same similar opinion, is that folks are just wanting to go back to the 80s and 90s where you were clotheslining people and saying that that was good defense. Where these guys are guarding guys 94 feet. But what's weird though is the physicality of the playoffs has been good, but like it's such a drastic change from the regular season to the postseason. And you've seen a lot of grabbing getting away with. They need to be more consistently in the regular season and postseason to make it not such a huge gap. But I got sidetracked again because of this. But I'm really just what question did I ask you, man? I was I went on my own tangent. I keep looking at the chat because I like to
you were talking about
the
the physicality and stuff defensively in the playoffs.
Oh, right. It was that's right. It was more of just I'm tired of people saying that these guys don't play defense or can't play defense when they can, because like just I see the effort and the cardio that goes into it. As in back in the day, it was just you just clothesline people and it was physical defense, and they said it was good.
Yeah, it was less skill back then than there is now. The thing about defense, you got to want to do it. It's not that the players can't do it. It's just like, how many guys are really getting paid for playing defense? Like
Well, that's just
offense.
it. It's there's one guy now that really jumps off the page, and that's Lou Dort. And like the Tony Allens of the world are basically those guys are going to be non-existent because you still have to be able to put up at least a corner three. That's why PJ Tucker stuck around as long as he did.
Yeah.
At least he hit that corner three.
Yeah, like if you look at the Thompson twins and Dyson Daniels, like they play defense, but they give you something on the offensive end as well.
Right.
So
And it
like,
feels like nowadays you have to give something, and that was something that we said in the chat, is that everybody now can handle the ball at least at some point and is somewhat proficient at shooting. Like the best comp that I can think of, if I'm really going down the list of guys who would be monsters in like the previous era, but we think that are mid-level players, is Nas Reed. Like Nas Reed is somebody who can handle the ball, shoot the three, but he's not getting a whole lot of minutes. But his game, if you put him like in the 80s or 90s, he's tough. I would not want to with that dude. He's a more skilled James Johnson, it feels like.
yeah, I like Nas Reed's game. He another turnover. I really, honestly, I really enjoy watching the Wolves play. Period. Like between Nas Reed and Jaden McDaniels, and I'm biased because I'm an Illinois fan. Like I love Terrence Shannon, the rookie off the bench, and like I feel like the sky's the limit for Minnesota. Not this year. I don't see them winning it all this year, but if they keep building and keep developing these young guys and get rid of Rudy Gobert, they'll win at some point.
That was another thing. So the Nico Harrison thing was something where I got super irritated with how many people jumped on the bandwagon of how great of a trade it was after the Lakers got cooked in 5, but
No,
didn't
it's still
want
a
to
bad
take.
trade. Still a bad
It's
trade.
it's a bad trade only because of what you got in return.
Right.
And we talked about that. Like the return is what is the bad part of it, based on the offensive skill, the age, and things like that. But that's the other thing too, is Rudy Gobert. He put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers the other night, and people were saying, well, that's Rudy. No, he was averaging like 5 points and 6. Like he was getting played off he wasn't playing well. And I honestly feel like Minnesota actively plays defense against his offense. He could be wide open. They're like, no, not today, player. But he got a couple. But because they ignored him so much, he got so many good open looks, and then the offensive rebounds. And obviously, the Lakers at the center position aren't really well equipped for it.
Yeah.
But it was just like that was one game out of 5 that he dominated. Now, the next series, he might get played off the court again, depending on who they actually play, what the matchups are.
I'm praying it's Golden State because I want to see Draymond choke him again. Like that's
What is it
what
with
I'm
him in
hoping.
Europe? He hates European players so much. It's crazy, dude.
Hey, Draymond a different kind of cat because he hates young players too because he gave Jalen Green a nice flagrant foul tonight. 3 minutes into the
Green
game.
gave him a flagrant?
Yeah, Draymond gave Jalen Green a nice flagrant one at the beginning of the game.
Man, come on. We can't be having green on green crime too. At least. I want to get to the chat for a moment real quick because Evan Bradfield, who we give a plug for the in my bag apparel. That's I'm not wearing it today, but I'm wearing the LeBron shirt. I need to get me that Luca hoodie soon. Regardless of whether I believe that he's a great player or not, it's a fire hoodie. But he asked where you think that Luca might go, and he made a little stab at PJ Tucker still in the playoffs, which is bananas to me because I didn't even know that he was on a roster still. But if you had a gut feeling about Luca if he doesn't re-sign with LA because the whole Supermax thing, do you have an idea of where he would go? It's kind of off the cuff, so if you don't have anything, I get it.
If he doesn't re-sign in LA, I mean, it's kind of hard to predict because it's 2 years out, and you got to see, how other teams' rosters are. But I mean, him and Jokic are cool. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Denver.
I think so. Like in Denver, to me, I think so. And if I remember right, I think that Denver has like 3 max players right now, and that's why they're going to be super jacked up. Like they're going to have to move a Murray or an MPG because they already got Jokic, MPG, and Jamal on those max deals. So I feel like they're kind of jacked up because the NBA works different than the NFL, where the money has to match up on your trades. So um, that'd
Yeah,
be that'd be fun. But look, man, if he's unconditioned in LA, what makes us think that he's going to be good at the elevation of Denver?
yeah. Well, and then if I'm an NBA player and I'm a star, man, I'm trying to get to San Antonio. To be honest with you, I want to play with that alien, and
it's That's the only way that he is an extraterrestrial. It's crazy. And I
I'm
was thinking,
praying they win the lottery. I pray they win the lottery.
well, that was a question that I posed in the Sports Avengers page was like if you had the opportunity, like obviously it's not going to be a straight up trade, but would you rather, like in the moment, would you rather draft Cooper Flag or trade for Giannis? And that's another thing that if you're making that move, because you'd have to move the number one pick and obviously get more to get Giannis, because I think that we all think that Cooper Flag is going to be good, but do we think he's going to be what Giannis is now? And if you put Giannis is basically just right-handed David Robinson, it feels like, and if you put him next to Wemby, that's going to be stupid.
Yeah, I think that personally I'm taking Cooper Flag just because I believe the fit is better next to Wimby, and he's younger, that too, like a rookie deal. But
Well, sure,
I mean, you have to give up so much to get Giannis. Like
yeah, it
that's
would be a king's ransom for sure.
because it's like you're giving up the number one pick. We're talking Spurs, of course. You're giving up the number one pick.
Right.
You're giving up Keldon Johnson, probably Devin Vassell. They're gonna want Steven Castle. You can't let that happen. But
No, I mean, he was rookie of the year.
it's like you lose so much depth getting Giannis. It's like the Knicks all over again when they went for Melo. Like the Knicks had a
Yeah,
lot of pieces that they
that's a
gave
good
up for
point.
Melo, and it didn't work out. Now, of course, you're keeping Wimby, and you got Wimby, Giannis, De'Aaron Fox. That's a nice core. I mean, can
I forgot the Spurs even got De'Aaron Fox.
yeah, I
That
I
actually
love the
is
Spurs going forward.
if the Spurs like if they're able to acquire the number one overall pick, that is going to be scary. Like what you said with Wemby coming back, and I don't even apparently he'll be ready for towards the beginning of the season, but I wouldn't rush it back because you're going to have as long as he's back by you know, the 15th game of the season, give him like 70 or so games back. I think that they'll be fine. But yeah, between him and Castle and De'Aaron, and if they get Cooper Flag too, that's gonna be that's gonna be a problem in 3 years.
Yeah, like then I believe De'Aaron Fox is going to be an All NBA player next year because I think with Chris Paul being there another year, any guard that plays next to Chris Paul takes a leap. like
Yeah.
all of them. And I don't think De'Aaron Fox will be any different. Like he's already been an all-star, but just getting that knowledge from Chris Paul, I expect all NBA from De'Aaron Fox next year.
The only problem that I have with all of these awards are largely based around team success. So I mean, that's the thing is that if there's another huge injury to either, Castle in this hypothetical that we've created, if it's Flag or um if it's Wemby again, he'll miss the all NBA team just because the team record is Chiefs, So I mean, like as long as everyone stays healthy and they have a good record, I agree with you because he was putting up bananas numbers when he got to San Antonio. It was crazy.
Yeah, and because like you said, it's all about the record. Because if it weren't Jokic is the MVP this year, last year, but they're gonna
Well,
give it to SGA.
yeah, and that's what's so weird is like if you were going to give Joker the MVP this year, you would have had to have given it to Luca last year, and like there's just we every single year it feels like we move like we as fans and also the people who make these rules and are on the committees for this, they move the goalposts about what's important. Is it your stats? Is it the winning? Is it the record? Is it a combination of the two? And it's super irritating. Evan chopped in and said they can only be MPG. Joker could put that battery in his back, so he's just carry them even more.
Yeah, man, I can't believe this game just became a blowout.
Oh, are the Warriors just beating the brakes off? Or I'm sorry, are the Rockets beating the brakes off of Houston,
They're
Hill
up
Stadium?
13 now with 3 minutes left. I already won
Let's
my
go.
parlay, so I don't
So
care.
you good? You.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I really had on my agenda with those two things, and obviously, if there's anything else, people in the chat, or if you have anything that you want to get to, was this Halliburton and Giannis thing. So before we get into the actual interaction between Halliburton's dad and Giannis, um, I'm at a point where I've been pretty open about the fact that I understand how great Giannis is. I just can't stand his offensive game. I can't stand the way that he's played the fans against themselves essentially, where he says winning's the only thing that matters, and then he gets bounced in the playoffs early, and then he pivots and says, there's more to this than basketball. And also, he strums all the notes correctly in the perfect way to make a fan love him. So I remember, so LaShawn posted the picture of Halliburton getting all up in Giannis's grill, and I said, I don't just like this, I low key love it, and he seemed a little bit surprised by it. And it's only because I feel like him and Dame both have given off the fake "I want to be here" type of mentality. When Giannis has threatened to leave multiple times, and he deserves better than Milwaukee. I understand that as far as the roster construction and stuff like that, but that's the reason why I said I loved it is I have no problem with somebody trying to catch the smoke with Giannis. With Halliburton's dad being suspended, I understand it because you cannot have anybody get that close to NBA dudes and think that it's okay because you are opening up a huge can of worms.
Right. You want another malice. That's what you're asking for.
Yeah, if you allow that to get and the NBA is the only one that's that weird that's that way, it feels like.
Yeah.
They, why are we letting them be 4 feet away from professional athletes? That seems like it's a bad recipe. And the fact that we've only really had the malice is we've had a couple of instances, but that's the most famous one. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that largely folks have been able to keep it together, that's impressive. But
Yeah, they just the whole Halliburton dad and Giannis thing. Just looking at it as a dad, like bro, you just took a moment away from your kid.
yeah,
Like the talk is about you and not your kid. Like be happy you're there. Be grateful you're there. Like enjoy your son's victory. Like man, sit your old ass down. Like you look like Colonel Stinkmeaner from the Boondocks. Like go sit down somewhere.
I saw you put that in the chat.
Like bro, like what are you doing? Like you look like you don't even have teeth. He look like he got dentures in his mouth. Like, bro, sit down.
I didn't see a whole lot as far as like his physical appearance, but it was just, the interaction and the encounter with both of them seemed like, I
Yeah,
don't know, and the physical appearance when you look at him, I made the David Robinson reference earlier. Like, I don't know, but between those two and Dwight Howard, I don't know of any other more cut crazy basketball player that we've seen. I would not want to with Giannis.
hell no. He grew up in poverty too. Like, hell no. Giannis,
Poverty breed.
no.
Yeah, we're
And
not
his brother
doing.
had to share shoes. Like, no, I don't want no smoke with dude.
Nah.
Like, yeah, he got it out the mud. So you leave them dudes alone. Tyrese, or whatever your daddy name is, John Halliburton.
I have no idea what his dad's name is, and that's the thing too. Like you said, like why are you being famous right now? With that you're taking a moment away from your kid. Like, and the thing is that in this is where all of these weird, not weird dynamics, but parental dynamics kind of collide. Is that your kid's a professional athlete, and youth sometimes, not every time, but most dads or moms or whatever are like, I'm the one who got you there. So they want to be able, even though they maybe it's through failed experiences of their own, want to live the dream through their eyes, and it starts to kind of cloud their judgment. But it's also, they're a grown man, but they're still your kid. So there's this weird dynamic of, am I embarrassing my kid? And, are we equals because we're adults? It's a bunch of back and forth, I think. But
Yeah, it's like you're riding your kids' coattails right now. Like, and that's the last thing, me personally, I would ever want to do. Like, even on a much smaller scale, like when my kids are doing their athletic things, I'm not yelling, I'm not screaming, I'm not doing none of that because like I'm not putting attention on me. I'm not gonna act a fool and embarrass my kid. If I have a problem with something, I'm gonna address my kid after the game, but I'm not doing that in public. Like, no, you look like a clown.
I I agree, but I also am going to shamefully admit stuff. So like my son hasn't played like soccer, t-ball, basketball in I think 2 years now. But when he did, the only thing that I ever yelled out or like got on him for, I'm like, get back on defense, bro. Like every single time. Cause like he's built like Luca. I'm like, get back on defense. Stop. Stop. And that's the funniest thing to me when I see Luca play is I was thinking about this on the way home, is that he looks like a kid that does he's on the team but doesn't know what to do. So he on purposely does things he knows he's not supposed to do so he can look at somebody else and say, why weren't you there to help me? Like I've seen him get blown by so many times, and like he's taking the wrong angles. He's not on help defense. He's not getting in front of his guy. Someone goes by him, and he's in the right position initially, and then just kind of turns away, and he's already starting his "Where the hell were you at, bro?" It's crazy to me.
Yeah, Luca needs to do like he needs to spend all summer doing lateral drills. Like, bro, your footwork on defense is terrible. Austin Reeves too. Like, Luca's so bad that Austin Reeves is getting the pass. Austin Reeves is terrible.
Oh, so I'm so glad that you brought that up because that went through my mind, and I didn't have it on the actual sheet notes. But that's something too. Is I'm super irritated. It grinds my gears, dog. Is that whenever a marginal player plays well for like a 3 game stretch, they always get elevated to something that they're not. And Austin Reeves has had that a bunch of times. And Austin Reeves is an okay NBA player. But because he plays for the Lakers and he's had a couple 30-point games, and because he plays with Luke and LeBron, he gets elevated to the status that he does not deserve. Congratulations, you're an NBA player, and I guess you should be, but you are not on the level of these other dudes.
No, no. And I like Austin Reeves, but
He ain't
like
that guy.
Austin Reeves is not even the third. He shouldn't be the third best player on a championship contender.
Thank you. And this is one of the reasons why I had issues with before the Jimmy Butler trade with Miami, and we're getting kind of sidetracked because that's what I do, is I remember years ago when the whole Kevin Durant thing to Miami was starting to kind of heat up, and the Heat were like, "Well, we can't get rid of Duncan Robinson." Are you kidding me? We can't get rid of Tyler Hero. Are you kidding me? Like Tyler Hero has turned out in that span to be a good scorer and a very proficient NBA player. But the people that they weren't willing to give up to get Kevin Durant was wild to me because of the whole Heat culture is a myth. If you don't got the players, you don't have Heat culture. And that's another thing I'm irritated as hell about. Man, people just got me all kinds of mad today, bro.
Yeah, like the way I look at Austin Reeves is I would love Austin Reeves to be in there, and I'm gonna age myself here in that Tony Kukoc role. Like my sixth man, you can give me 15 to 20 points off the bench every game. Some games I might have you close. That's perfect for Austin Reeves to me. Like it just like him and Luca on the court together, like that's just bad defense. You're gonna give up a bunch of points.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all I mean, when you have two white guys in your starting five, it's already you they looking to cook you anyways, but
Hey, I mean, it's working for the Rockets right now. They got Shingun and Dylan Brooks. So
I said two white guys and you said Shangun and Dylan Brooks.
hey, man.
When we had
Dylan
that
Brooks, I saw that Olympic documentary on Netflix. Dylan Brooks on the court persona and his off the court persona are two totally different things.
so is
Like
he like basically
he's
braided Grayson
Carlton
Allen?
off the court.
So is he? I was gonna say, is he braided Grayson Allen or
Man,
like what's?
he's Wayne Brady. That's exactly like Wayne. He's Wayne Brady, and then on the court,
He's
he's
Lane
Wayne
Brady.
Brady from Chappelle's Show.
He's Lane Brady.
Man,
No.
they're eating kumquats and like, what are you doing, bro?
Oh my god. So Evan also asked as far as so Houston won this game, right? Is that game over?
Yeah, it's like a minute left, but they're up like 15. The
Okay,
Warriors
so
put
yeah.
the bums in.
All right, so they cooked. All right, so we got game 7 then, right?
Yep.
So Evan is asking us, what do you think is gonna happen? So game seven's in Houston.
Hmm.
What do we you got anything as far as again, this is kind of off the cuff and we're just
I mean, I want to say Golden State, but like, bro, Houston got so many like athletes on the wings, and like Steph shot 9 of 23 tonight. Like, is it terrible? No, but like five
for
turnovers,
Steph it is.
right? And like they can switch. The Rockets can switch everything, and the Warriors have no size really to mess with Shingun.
Dude, he's so good. Like I'm not gonna put him up on that pantheon of Jokic and other centers like that, but he's super skilled.
He's on the way. Like it was a meme that I saw a while ago. It had like Jokic as Charizard, Sabonis as Charmeleon, and Shingun as Charmander. And like that's real though.
So it's
And
wild because I don't. My son loves Pokemon. I don't. So like I know who the characters are, but I have no idea what the evolution actually means.
man, like, well, Charizard is a bad MFer. Let's put it that way. But Shingun, hell, I would have to say is a top 5 center in the league right now.
Ooh. I
Like
mean,
if
I don't. I mean, we got. I don't know how much time you've got because where you are, it's what is it? 11 or is it
I don't
midnight?
even know what time it is. To be honest with
Well, it's 8. So it's 8 o'clock here
you.
in Alaska, and I think aren't you 3 hours ahead in Illinois?
Yep, it's 10:53. So
All right, so you're 3 hours ahead. But yeah, I don't want to hijack you for the entire. I'm not sure how much time you got, or
you know. I ain't
That
gonna do
was.
nothing.
I love how you just went.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm watching this game. When this was over, I was just gonna watch some Martin reruns. So
No, I feel you, man. Like my son's at a sleepover. My wife had to go to Seattle uh for some stuff for her mom. There's some, medical stuff that we're kind of dealing with. So I'm by myself too, and I got nothing else to do. Not that sounded really poorly worded, that I don't have anything better else to do, because I want to do this anyways. You know what?
I
I
feel
want
you.
I want to edit that out because that makes me feel bad. Uh, um, but I want, so let me ask you this too before. Well, also, so how much time do you think that you have at it? Because I know it's late where you are, and I don't want to be that guy.
Hey man, I'm rock. You rocking. I'm rolling. Let's ride.
Sounds good, man. So the only other topic that I really had were two. That one I did a short with, and another one that I haven't brought up yet. And then if you have anything you want to bring to the table, please do. Is so everyone's trying to force this Ant-Man is the next face of the league thing.
Uh-huh.
One, I think it's stupid that we put that much pressure and care that much about somebody being the next face of the league. Um, but one, do you care about it? And if you do, who would you want it to be? Because there's more to it than just you're the best player, right? You're supposed to be the ambassador, and there's more things that go along with that, which he's made very clear that he doesn't want to be a part of.
Uh-huh.
But what's your thought on all of it?
I feel like the face of the league, like it has to happen organically. Like you can't try to crown someone. Like we've seen that. Not even just being the face of, like, Harold Miner was Baby Jordan, and look how that turned out.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was great. With like that nickname, yo,
like,
you shouldn't have gotten that quickly, man.
it's gonna happen. Like for me, the face of the league is gonna be Wimby. Like that's who it's gonna be. Like right now, it's still LeBron. It's still LeBron. It's still Steph.
Still Giannis, kind of.
Yeah, like the young guys are good. SGA is kind of quiet. I don't know if he'll be the face of the league. Like, it's dope that, like, any commercial I see him in, it's one of his teammates in the commercial with him. Like, but it's gonna happen. Like, I don't know
Wait,
why
shit.
people are trying to rush it and force it. Like,
Is
you
SGA
really,
in commercials?
yeah, oh yeah,
I don't think
him
I've
and
seen him. I've seen Jimmy Butler in a Cheez It commercial, but I can't remember ever
and
seeing
it's
SGA
him
in
and
one.
Chet and Jalen Williams. They're in the commercial, and they're
That's
like,
right. That's right. I forget which one it is, but yeah, I remember Chet being in it too. Okay, that makes more sense now.
but it's like, and then they trying to, like, this is just me, like, keeping it a bean. Like, you want your face of the league to be a dude who said, like, yeah, I'm putting all these babies out here, and I'm gonna just pay this one bro. Like, man, nah. Like,
Well, and that yeah, and that's the thing, is that because these sports enterprises, like they're corporations, right? They want to make sure that who's supposed to be the quote unquote face of the league portrays the image of what they believe. And that's always frustrated me too, is that the NFL is always about like protecting the shield, and it's the team over one person, but we constantly see guys and players, coaches, GMs, whatever, make it more about them, but they have that shield to hide behind, because NFL is the ultimate team, or football is the ultimate team sport. So, but the face of the league thing for me is, yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know why we care so much. It's always kind of weirded me out, because like the sport's going to go on regardless. Um, but you're right. If the face, the ambassador, is supposed to be somebody who you trust, who's the good-hearted person, like Anthony Edwards, to me, I don't feel like is a super terrible person. I feel like I'm not on board with most of the choices that he's made, but also by the same token, is like you don't have to just watch him play, just watch him hoop. That's all he wants to do anyways. KD is the same way. Like, I just want to hoop. I don't care about
uh-huh.
all the other bullshit. This is all I'm here for. And
Yeah.
But the torch passing, I think you're right. I think it's gonna have to be a guy like Wemby. Um, and even then, like the out of the United States player hasn't really clicked that well. Luka's about the only one who has because he's so fun to watch offensively and now obviously plays in LA, but like Jokic that hasn't really caught on with. SGAs from Canada, it hasn't really caught on with. I feel like for us, when we look at face of the league, it has to be a US born player and they have to like really embrace it. And we're not going to give it to Jason Tatum.
And I don't know why. Like I'm a Tatum guy, so I would be perfectly fine with him being on that pedestal. But I'm just, honestly, where this is going to go, they're gonna try to push it on Cooper Flag, and it's
Yep.
gonna bring the same
Dude, his last name is
toxicity.
Flag.
Right.
Of course they're going to.
It's gonna bring the same amount of toxicity that like Caitlin Clark did with the WNBA. Like that's what's going to happen.
That's dude, that's a great point. I think that you're spot on with that.
So like I feel sorry for the kid because he's about to be put into debates and arguments that have absolutely nothing to do with him.
You know what I'm waiting for? So this hasn't happened yet, but I'm usually one step ahead. Here's what somebody's going to do. His name's Cooper Flag. He's got 2 G's. Somebody's going to make 100 stars and 26 stars or 26 stripes. They're going to put it on his chest like that. That's what's going to happen, and it's going to take off at some point in time. I don't know when, but somebody's going to do it. And if it happens, I want to know that I was the first person to say it on record, though, because I want royalties from that.
Yeah, like he's about to get put in a whole lot of nonsense. Just like, it's not a debate like because there's no Angel Reese to his Caitlin Clark, but
Right. There's no like real rivalry.
the first hard foul, the first argument he gets into with somebody of a darker complexion, it's gonna turn into that.
Yo, I if there is a God, the very first game that he plays, regardless of where he goes, will be against either A, Draymond Green or Dylan Brooks. Because right then and there, we're gonna see if you are right.
Well, selfishly, I hope it's here. Um,
For Chicago for the Bulls.
yeah, like
Yeah, for sure.
I hope it's here. But I like the kid. I think he's gonna be a stud. I don't think he's Larry Bird, or I heard something like he's not. I don't think he's that.
No,
I
he's
think
he's he's Barry Pheasant.
he'll be a step above to me, what Kevin Love was in Minnesota.
Oh, interesting.
Like, he's not gonna put up those gaudy numbers, but
Oh,
I
okay.
don't see.
That was my next question because I was like, yo, he put up crazy numbers in Minnesota.
Yeah, but Kevin Love stat padded in Minnesota. He didn't care about winning until he got out of there.
Well,
He
they also didn't give him a whole lot of help.
No, they didn't. They drafted Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn. Like,
In this 6 picks apart, right? Or so in the ballpark, something stupid.
I thought they were back to back.
And
I
they
just
they
know,
might they might
I
have
just
been.
know
I don't know.
they both were picked before Steph Curry.
Yeah, that one hurts. But to be, I don't know. I try to give teams a little bit of leeway when they draft somebody who's generational when we didn't think they were going to be generational because like the Davidson run was epic when it comes to college basketball, but I think it can be a little bit out of context about what we thought he was going to be, especially like when you saw like in his first 3 or 4 years, he had so many injuries and people were calling him a bust. And it's like he's lucky that everything that his future changed because otherwise he could have been one of those flameouts as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the Rubio pick. It's the Johnny Flynn pick that is like, bro. Johnny Flynn was the size of my daughter, so it's like, what did you really think? He's little as hell. He can't shoot.
It was that seven overtime game.
Was he in that game with Kemba?
I thought he was.
I don't know, but I
So
just
I know that Evan's still here and he's a basketball like savant, might be giving him too much credit, but he's right up in that wheelhouse. Like him and his brother have a pod, and that's like hoops is what they talk. So he's always about that. So if we don't know now, we're about to know soon. But I think that I thought that they did, but I could be wrong.
and they drafted Rashad McCants. Minnesota just
Was
they really
McCann
screwed up for a bunch of years.
Was McCants in that same draft?
No, he was a couple years before then,
I was
but
gonna say I didn't think so
it's just
because
like
the only reason why because of that my best friend, his best friend was a walk on at UNC when they won their title in like '05.
yeah.
And he got to hoop with McCants.
Because
And McCants was somebody who I thought it was fun to watch him play, but it just seemed like that was a stretch too.
first of all, F that UNC team because they beat my Illini. Like
Oh,
Sean.
I wasn't trying to open. I look my college whose vein doesn't run that deep.
And
So
like we had that epic win against Arizona, and I just thought it was destiny for us to win the Natty.
was that the Jason Terry year?
No, he was gone. It was Channing Frye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we we were like 30-1. They
Man, you
There's a couple things, as a sports fan, there are a couple things that just stick in your craw, and that's one of them. Is that the Derrick Rose injury? Not Bartman. Bartman doesn't bother me. Like any Cubs fans, you're stupid.
right. Okay.
Moises Alou was not catching that ball. Like
I'm glad that you got to put it out in the universe because somebody needs to actually hear it besides just
no, the
the
person
30
who
for 30s.
deserves blame is Alex Gonzalez. The very next pitch, Taylor made double play ball, and he bobbles it. Like that's the game right there. Then you got Kerry Wood on the mound for Game 7, and you lose.
Yo, Kerry
So
Wood had a moment.
yeah, Kerry Wood was a dog. If Dusty Baker knew how to manage pitchers,
He's the JJ Redick of
I hate that. Like, bro, Dusty Baker is like 80 years old. I'll beat Dusty Baker ass if I run across him, dude. Like, you ruined Mark Pryor. You ruined Mark Pryor. Mark Pryor was the greatest pitching prospect since Roger Clemens, and you ruined him because you
Yeah,
want
that one's gotta hurt.
to. That's
I love,
Dusty
I love how
Baker.
Evan said D Brown was a monster though. It's like I remember him being great in like NBA Live 1997.
Man, no, not that D Brown. Not that D Brown. D Brown for Illinois.
Oh, my bad.
He's from out here. Yeah, he went to one of my high school's rival schools. My sister's actual alma mater. It was D Brown and Shannon Brown. They were some dogs. But yeah, D Brown was cold. But that was Darren Williams, James Augustine, Roger Powell, Luther Head. Like that was a nice team, and
The
we
same
lost.
Shannon Brown that had that ridiculous block when he played for the Lakers. Are
Yeah,
they
they went.
related?
Him and D Brown went to the same high school, Proviso East, and then Shannon Brown went to Michigan State for college. But yeah, shoot, Shannon
Huh.
Brown was married to Monica for a good while. Well, a little fine. Anyway, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But
We were about to have a we was about to have a talk.
yeah, shoot, Monica, that was one of my first crushes. Shoot,
You're like nobody that you know follows this, right?
I don't give a
I know.
damn.
Man, we too old. Like, so that was the thing too, is like earlier talking about your age. You're still younger than me though, right? Aren't you 38?
Yeah,
All right, yeah. Ugh, dude, I'm not happy about this. I'm gonna be 41 next Monday. Yuck.
Hey man, it's a blessing.
Is it?
Yeah, shoot, a lot of people ain't make it there.
I
So
mean that's fair. I'll give you that. Um, the only thing I had that I wanted to get your perspective on, if you had time and if you cared about it, even because I went on the live, would have been Tuesday, and if you have anything else that you just want to pop in, let me know. That's more interesting. But it was a whole Brandon Bean going, calling into a live radio station about their a live radio station basically saying they don't agree with the Buffalo Bills not taking a wide receiver in the first round, and not addressing it and getting a true number one. And um, do you have any opinion as far as like when owners and GMs and people who make personnel decisions call into local radio stations, or do you have anything that's better to talk about than that?
no,
Just off the cuff.
one, I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, that was real life.
But two, like I don't have a problem with it. Like, as a fan, you want transparency. And if they're giving you transparency as an exec, I would love it. Like I know my GM was on the radio earlier this week talking about basically how he, kind of disappointed he didn't get a running back.
So here's the thing I want to make sure that we have the same clarification on is, was he a guest on the show or did he call in on his own behalf?
No, he was a guest. He was a guest. It was
That
scheduled, and
so that's different than what happened with Brandon Bean. That was the thing with me. So if he's scheduled, I understand 100% what you're saying, but that is not what happened in Buffalo. But I'll let you. I want to let you
so he
finish. I
was.
just
So Brandon Bean was just like, "Hold on, wait, these fools talking shit." All right, bet.
so
Let me.
Yeah. So what basically happened? So I one, and I don't have my sources in front of me because I don't even know what station or what channel or what show it is. So I'm coming in clean with that. But he calls in and says, "Well, what do you want us to do? You were complaining about Josh Allen, and so you wanted Josh Rosen, and I gave you Josh Allen. And if you would have made the complaint about a wide receiver, you could have done that over a year ago and I would have understood it. But we also scored 30 points per game and that we're the highest, scoring offense and blah, blah, blah. So none of this matters. And he's saying you're bitching about every other word is like you're bitching about this, and this. And then the radio hosts get to chime back in like, well, we wish you would have listened to the first 2 hours because there was some context about it. And neither here nor there, to me, it brought to light that all these executives and everybody who says like we just stick to the grindstone, we're not worried about, we don't listen to the outside noise. Yes, you clearly do. Is that was my point? Is one, you clearly do. Two, you listen to your local radio station and you called in. You weren't a guest. You went on your own accord to defend what you did, and I thought that was wild. Like people are defending. It's like everything else. Some people are crazy defending him, and some people are blasting him. I can understand why he would do it, but it's also dog. That seems like to me, you're feeling the pressure of your job, and now you have expectations because Josh Allen has the MVP, and you feel like if you guys don't win within the next 2 years, everybody's cooked.
Yeah, I mean, he should feel it because I forgot who I was having a conversation with the other day, but I was like, I feel like the Bills window, like this is it. I don't even give them 2 years. I like this is it to me. So what are they gonna do?
Well, and this
But
is this is the conversation that I try to have with people is that like when people are drafted high, we get to a point where like of course they're going to win one. But we also think that everybody who's great is going to win one. And
right,
that math can't math out the exact same way all the time because people have said, well, Joe Burrow's obviously going to win one, Lamar Jackson's obviously going to win one, Josh Allen. Like we go down the line and we're already like between 5 and 7 years already into their career. And we can't just expect they're going to play until they're 43 and everything just the stars finally align. I just feel like it's a it's a disingenuous way of looking at how pro sports works and how many opportunities you really have to do this, because we look at seasons, but we don't really look at years. And I feel like that's where we're at right now, is that Josh Allen is in what, year 7?
Yeah, I mean, and it's like it's hard for him to win when he's got the Grim Reaper in his conference. Like, what are
Yeah.
you going?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this thing is like all these guys are in the same age group right now. And because we've heard it with Herbert, like, oh, well, Herbert's, you either got the overrated because the Chargers aren't good, or we have the he's going to win because he has the most talent. And it's, you can pick and choose. And, that's the thing too, is there's 32 quarterbacks, there's 2 conferences. You're not going to be able, everyone's not going to win a Super Bowl, but everybody thinks that their quarterback is going to win one. There's a really good chance that Buffalo doesn't even get to one.
Yeah, I mean, the AFC is loaded.
It's crazy.
Like, the AFC is loaded. If they were in the NFC, they'd probably be up there with Philadelphia. I mean, Detroit
Yeah.
sucks, so not them. But
But look, man, I appreciate when you bring the pettiness, because you bring the pettiness, but it's also not every single year I do this too with Detroit, is like I've acknowledged that they're a functioning football team now. They're no longer a disgrace, but I still don't believe in them because I don't believe in Jared Goff.
and now some team took their offensive coordinator and made him their head coach. So
Some random team. I wonder. See, who poached that? Who poached that dude?
I mean, it was the Bears. I mean, what can I say? Like we're cooking with gas, baby.
I'm like, let's do that. Let's do that to kind of wrap up the episode, since I really don't have anything else that I had on my sheet. Is I know that you and I talk every once in a while when you're on here, and have some of the other sports Avengers. We talk about the teams that we enjoy. But to reiterate for the other fans up there, like what's kind of your expectation for Chicago next year with them having Ben Johnson and having another year uh with Caleb Williams and Rome? It feels like, and they address the offensive line. Are you
No, I'm not drinking the
excited?
Kool-Aid.
You what?
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
So
Like,
is your fanhood like my fanhood, when because I every year I say the Bills aren't winning anything because they haven't won a Super Bowl in my lifetime, so I don't have to get ready if I stay ready. Are you in that mode?
no, because I'll get juiced about them and I'll believe in them and things like that. Like when the double doink year, like we
Oh my
should have at
God,
least
that
been
was
in the
brutal.
NFC Championship game that year. Like we should have. We would have beaten the Rams. We should have at least played an NFC Championship game. This
Is that
year,
is that your worst? Is that your worst memory as a Bills or a Bears fan? Is the double
well,
doink?
honestly, it was another playoff game against the Eagles. What was it? I think it was like we had like a miraculous year in like 2001 that nobody saw coming. We were like
That was the
13
Curtis.
and
That was the Curtis Conway,
no, he was
and
gone. That
was he?
was yeah, it
Damn.
was Dick Duran was our coach. And it
Ugh. As
was
a
like his
Bills fan,
first year.
As a Bills fan, I hate that name. You keep that name out of everybody's mouth.
And let's see, it was Urlacher. Like we won 2 games off of Mike Brown pick sixes in overtime. Like, and we had a
Oh
bye
man.
in our first playoff game. Donovan McNabb brought his black ass back to Chicago, and he beat us. And as soon as the game was over, they started tearing down Soldier Field, and like that, I was what 2001, so I was 12 going on 13. No, I wasn't. Damn, I can't count. I was I was 14 going on 15.
I was
And yeah,
gonna say
I
because
sh-
that
I
was like
shed
you
a
were 3 years apart.
I shed a couple tears that night. Like that hurt.
Uh, to me, dude, I remember for me as a Bills fan, the most hatred I've ever felt was the Music City Miracle, because I was home alone. I've never been able to express that much anger by myself because my parents were out of town. like two of my older sisters were gone. My younger sister was like hanging out with one of her friends. The Music City Miracle happens. I was the only person in the house. I think I was 14 or 15, and I was punching couches. I was livid at
That
that
was
play, bro. I was emotionally unstable.
that was a forward pass. Like yeah, that y'all they got screwed. They
I
got
was
screwed.
not happy. But yeah, but to get back to Chicago, so you say you're not really drinking the Kool-Aid though? Or are you thinking
9-8.
what? Oh, so not even at 9-8, do you, that might be enough to still get a wild card spot in the NFC.
Yeah,
Oh,
they should be contending for a wild card spot. I'm not ready to say they're going to win the division or anything like that. Like they still got to get through. I do believe they're the second best team in the division. I do believe that. But
yeah, I'm at like 2.5 because I feel like Minnesota was a crazy outlier,
yeah,
and Detroit to me feels like that team is it like we said earlier, that team is like a legitimate outfit, and I don't consider them to be Super Bowl favorites, but I know that they're going to be at least, as long as there isn't some like catastrophic injuries, they're at least a divisional round
yeah, they
type of
they
team.
they should still win the division this year. I just I got to see what the Bears are doing at tackle. They drafted a kid out of Boston College that they're saying they're going to try at left tackle. I don't know how it's going to work. We'll see. But the Bears couldn't rush the passer, and I don't feel like they've done anything to really solve that. Like if you can't get to the quarterback, no matter how good your secondary is, like they can only cover for so long. And
That
and
is
let
that is that is absolutely going to be a problem. But I think the one thing that they've done, and with Ben Johnson, this is where, as long as if Ben Johnson wants to try to do things as close to what he did in Detroit as he wants to do in Chicago, is your defense can be fresher longer because you are just wearing down their defense. So if he sticks more to the run game and is more creative, especially because they have offensive players and they have the skill set, if he's willing to try to make other teams make mistakes by trying to play catch up and throw the ball all the time, then the secondary can the secondary can help out the defensive front and vice versa. But you're right, like they didn't address everything, but that's
yeah.
why football is so awesome, is that what one thing that you're dominant in can impact the other team's play calling.
And then I just feel like we have a bunch of weapons. I will like we can go, you know, I'll put our skill players against any team skill players at this point. At the same time, what he had in Detroit, it could run because it was inside. Man, once
That
you get
offensive
out
line is
here
stupid.
in November and December and that wind is coming in off the lake, man, it's a different ball game. So like he has to run the ball. Like we have to run the ball. Like bear weather is a thing. Is it's a thing. It's a real thing.
Well, and
Like
that's why I think it's going to be so important for you guys to win the division, because you need to make sure that the elements actually matter.
oh yeah,
Because that was one of the things where I talked about, like I've talked about this for years now with Green Bay, is that they play outdoors and they had Aaron Rodgers, and it's like that's not conducive. Congratulations, you win the division every year, but you're not doing anything because the weather climate isn't good. You can't let Detroit or Minnesota now have home field advantage because the elements are completely taken out of the equation. But yes, if you win your division, which again we've already said isn't likely, but if you do that and have the elements be part of it, he already has the game plan involved with their running backs to be able to make that a real problem.
yeah. Because until Caleb shows me he's that dude, like I'm not saying he's Mahomes, but like until he shows me he's one of them ones, like no, you gotta lean on the running game.
Yeah.
And like even though Jared Goff, I love to see it, but even though he turned the ball over a boatload in that playoff game, I mean, Gibbs was averaging 7 carries a rip, or 7 yards a rip, and he stopped
I
giving it to him.
I couldn't believe, dude, that was the most egregious act of incompetence I've seen in a long time. Because yeah, he was averaging 7, 8 yards of carries, and they're like, nah, we're good. What do you mean you're good?
Right. You
Ugh.
you got a stud you can keep handling to, or you gonna let this bum throw like
Look,
Jared
man, I
Goff.
was so the thing for me again with the playbook is we are looking at past history and what can we see going forward. And all year long, Vikings fans were pissed at me and Lions fans were pissed at me. I'm like, I understand that you guys are good franchises, but Darnold and Goff are going to absolutely shit the bed and let you down. And what's weird is that those fan bases in my comments were very active up until week 17, and ain't nobody commented, ain't nobody done nothing since then because they knew that your boy was right.
Yeah, like I said before the season started last year that the Lions were fool's gold and they'd win a bunch of games and wet the bed in the playoffs. That's exactly what they did. I expect them to win a bunch of games and wet the bed in the playoffs again this year.
Yeah, there's nothing that suggests otherwise, and that's kind of like with the Saquon thing. And this is another victory lap that I'm going to take, and a lot of people don't like it when I do that, but I don't really care. Was when Saquon signed with Philly. Do you know how you, CR, you are in a lot of the same sports groups that I'm in? How many people said he would be a non-factor because of how quote unquote good he was in New York? In New York,
Yeah, they said that you running
he's a
backs don't
non-factor.
matter
He's a
and
non-factor.
right, but like he's he's different. Him, Christian McCaffrey, they're different.
Yeah.
Like
But that's the
so,
thing. Yeah. And that's what's so frustrating is like, because I do understand, and this has always been my point, is that running back to me, and we talked about this a little bit the other day, was I don't have a problem with Ashton Genty being drafted in the top 7 or 8 if your offensive line is awesome, because we've seen offensive lines make good running backs great and bad offensive line make great running backs look like they're trash. So when he went to Philly, I'm like, oh, it's a wrap. They're at least, if nobody dies, they're going to the Super Bowl, which is what they did. And same thing when Baltimore got Derrick Henry, I'm like, oh, they're going to go to the divisional round or the AFC Championship game because he's just a difference maker because of what they've got around them too. It's they're not all built the same though, and these fans, we're circling back to the beginning of the episode where it's just fans irritate the hell out of me.
yeah, they're stupid. They're stupid. Especially Lions fans and Packers fans. Well, Packers fans are inbred. So like there's that.
We're just taking shots at.
I don't really have a problem with the Vikings fans. Like,
See, I do because I'm from Alaska, or not. I'm from Texas, but I've lived in Alaska long enough where I technically have to say that I'm from here. But there's a huge demographic of Vikings fans, and they all hate me. They all hate me.
I don't know. They've never won anything, so I don't really care about them. Like
But
it's
see, that's
never.
the thing too, is like as a Bills fan, like I get that's the thing. So this is what I want to get your opinion on this too, because this is something I talked about 3 years ago when I really started getting the podcast going, was when I would comment in like sports chats and groups. I would give my opinion because I was wearing a Bills hat. And every single time it was, what do you know, you're a Bills fan? I guess it was 4 years ago. But then once they got good, that never happened again. So just because, yeah, it's weird how again the sports fan is an irritant bunch where it's just because I'm a fan of a certain team that finally got good. Now my opinion matters when it didn't when I was right all the damn time. My bad. Oh, did we lose you? I think we may have lost CR. Yeah, he frozen. If you're watching live, you can see CR's frozen, which I know is going to be like oh, that's super convenient. You see how great you are at projecting sports stuff, and your guest bails out. He didn't bail out. Nothing happened. Just slight internet connection. But what we're going to do, though, because we've been going over a little bit over an hour now, is we're going to go and hang it up for the day. And again, if you're watching live, you can see it. It's in the proof is in the pudding. We ain't gotta try to lie to each other about it. But before we head out, once again, make sure that you Like, share, subscribe to this channel, the audio platform, wherever you get your podcast, the Playbook Podcast Live with Prescott Kelly, and CR just dipped out. Yeah, so I knew that this was going to happen at some point in time. But also In My Bag Apparel, you can catch them on Instagram, _bag 2023, and the Playbook Podcast, hosted by Mac Brooks in Iowa. You guys know the drill. Stay up, stay blessed. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Evan says, have a good night, fam. You too, man. I appreciate you stopping in and being here for the entirety of it. You guys know, but again, stay up, stay blessed, man. We love you guys.